past and also rest coming through speaking about the earlier question about the United Nations. So so yeah, I start. Okay, just a second. Just let me finish also.
Good evening and welcome to Third Church of Christ Scientist of New York City. Let's begin with singing hymn number 213, 213. O God, our help in ages past, our hope for time to come, our shelter from the stormy blast, and our eternal home. Number 213. I'll read from the Bible and from Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures by Mary Baker Eddy. The subject of this evening's readings is shelter, the Bible, Psalms. Hear my cry, O God, attend unto my prayer. From the end of the earth will I cry unto thee when my heart is overwhelmed. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I. For thou hast been a shelter for me, and a strong tower from the enemy. I will abide in thy tabernacle forever. I will trust in the covert of thy wings. Genesis. God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing and the fowls of the air. For it repenteth me that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations. And Noah walked with God. And God said unto Noah, The end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Make thee an ark of gopher wood. Rooms shalt thou make in the ark, and shalt pitch it within and without with pitch. And this is the fashion which thou shalt make it of. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, the breadth of it 50 cubits, and the height of it 30 cubits. A window shalt thou make in the ark, and in a cubit shalt thou finish it above. And the door of the ark shalt thou set in the side thereof. With lower, second, and third stories shalt thou make it. And behold, I, even I, do bring a flood of waters upon the earth, to destroy all flesh wherein is the breath of life from under heaven, and everything that is in the earth shall die. But with thee will I establish my covenant. And thou shalt come into the ark, thou and thy sons, and thy wife, and thy sons' wives with thee, and of every living thing of all flesh, 2 of every sort shalt thou bring into the ark, to keep them alive with thee. They shall be male and female. Of the fowls after their kind, and of cattle after their kind, of every creeping thing of the earth after his kind, 2 of every sort shall come unto thee, to keep them alive. And take thou unto thee of all food that is eaten, and thou shalt gather it to thee, and it shall be for food for thee and for them. Thus did Noah, according to all that God commanded him, so did he. And Noah was 600 years old when the flood of waters was upon the earth. And Noah went in, and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives with him, into the ark because of the waters of the flood. And it came to pass after 7 days that the waters of the flood were upon the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened, and the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. In the selfsame day entered Noah and Shem and Ham and Japheth, the sons of Noah, and Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of his sons with them into the ark. They and every beast after his kind, and all the cattle after their kind, and every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth after his kind, and every fowl after his kind, every bird of every sort. And they went in unto Noah into the ark, 2 and 2 of all flesh, wherein is the breath of life. And they that went in male and female of all flesh, as God had commanded him. And the Lord shut him in. And the flood was 40 days upon the earth, and the waters increased and bare up the ark, and it was lift up above the earth. And God remembered Noah and every living thing, and all the cattle that was with him in the ark. And God made him a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters assuaged. And the waters returned from off the earth continually, and after the end of the 150 days, the waters were abated. And the ark rested in the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, upon the mountains of Ararat. And it came to pass after the end of 40 days that Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made. And he sent forth a raven, which went forth to and fro until the waters were dried up from off the earth. Also he sent forth a dove from him to see if the waters were abated from off the face of the ground. But the dove found no rest for the sole of her foot, and she returned unto him into the ark, for the waters were upon the face of the whole earth. Then he put forth his hand and took her and pulled her in unto him into the ark. And he stayed yet another 7 days, and again he sent forth the dove out of the ark. And the dove came in to him in the evening, and lo, in her mouth was an olive leaf plucked off. So Noah knew that the waters were abated from off the earth. And he stayed yet another 7 days, and sent forth the dove, which returned not again unto him any more. And it came to pass in the 601st year, in the first month, the first day of the month, the waters were dried up from off the earth. And Noah removed the covering of the ark and looked, and behold, the face of the ground was dry. And God spake unto Noah, saying, Go forth of the ark, thou and thy wife, and thy sons' wives with thee. Bring forth with thee every living thing that is with thee, of all flesh, both of fowl and of cattle, and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, that they may breed abundantly in the earth, and be fruitful and multiply upon the earth. And Noah went forth, and his sons, and his wife, and his sons' wives with him, every beast, every creeping thing, and every fowl, and whatsoever creepeth upon the earth after their kinds went forth out of the ark. And Noah builded an altar unto the Lord, and took of every clean beast and of every clean fowl, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And God blessed Noah and his sons, and said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth. And I will establish my covenant with you. Neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by the waters of a flood, neither shall there any more be a flood to destroy the earth. And God said, This is the token of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for perpetual generations. I do set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth. And I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh. And the waters shall no more become a flood to destroy all flesh. And the bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look upon it, that I may remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth. And Noah lived after the flood 350 years, and all the days of Noah were 950 years. Proverbs. In the fear of the Lord is strong confidence, and his children shall have a place of refuge. John. Then said Jesus unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep. All that ever came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not hear them. I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out and find pasture. The thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. But he that is an hireling, and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not, seeth the wolf coming, and leaveth the sheep, and fleeth. And the wolf catcheth them, and scattereth the sheep. The hireling fleeth, because he is an hireling, and careth not for the sheep. I am the good shepherd, and know my sheep, and am known of mine. As the Father knoweth me, even so know I the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. And other sheep I have, which are not of this fold, them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd. Therefore doth my Father love me, because I lay down my life, that I might take it again. No man taketh it from me, but I lay it down of myself. I have power to lay it down, and I have power to take it again. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. and I give unto them eternal life, and they shall never perish, neither shall any man pluck them out of my hand. My Father, which gave them me, is greater than all, and no man is able to pluck them out of my Father's hand. I and my Father are one. 2 Corinthians. For we know that if our earthly house of this tabernacle were dissolved, we have a building of God, an house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. For in this we groan, earnestly desiring to be clothed upon with our house which is from heaven. If so be that being clothed, we shall not be found naked. For we that are in this tabernacle do groan, being burdened, not for that we would be unclothed, but clothed upon, that mortality might be swallowed up of life. Now he that hath wrought us for the selfsame thing is God, who also hath given unto us the earnest of the Spirit. Therefore we are always confident, knowing that whilst we are at home in the body, we are absent from the Lord. For we walk by faith, not by sight. We are confident, I say, and willing rather to be absent from the body and to be present with the Lord. Wherefore we labor, that whether present or absent, we may be accepted of him. Deuteronomy. The eternal God is thy refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. I'll now read correlative passages from the Christian Science textbook, Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures, by Mary Baker Eddy. Experience has proved to the author the fallacy of material systems in general, that their theories are sometimes pernicious and that their denials are better than their affirmations. Will you bid a man let evils overcome him, assuring him that all misfortunes are from God, against whom mortals should not contend? Will you tell the sick that their condition is hopeless unless it can be aided by a drug or climate? Are material means the only refuge from fatal chances? Is there no divine permission to conquer discord of every kind with harmony, with truth and love? We should remember that life is God and that God is omnipotent. Not understanding Christian Science, the sick usually have little faith in it till they feel its beneficent influence. This shows that faith is not the healer in such cases. The sick unconsciously argue for suffering instead of against it. They admit its reality, whereas they should deny it. They should plead in opposition to the testimony of the deceitful senses and maintain man's immortality and eternal likeness to God. Like the great exemplar, the healer should speak to disease as one having authority over it, leaving soul to master the false evidences of the corporeal senses and to assert its claims over mortality and disease. The same principle cures both sin and sickness. When divine science overcomes faith in a carnal mind, and faith in God destroys all faith in sin and in material methods of healing, then sin, disease, and death will disappear. Step by step, will those who trust him find that God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. The history of Christianity furnishes sublime proofs of the supporting influence and protecting power bestowed on man by his heavenly Father, omnipotent mind, who gives man faith and understanding whereby to defend himself not only from temptation, but from bodily suffering. Noah, a corporeal mortal, knowledge of the nothingness of material things and of the immortality of all that is spiritual. Ark, safety, the idea or reflection of truth proved to be as immortal as its principle, the understanding of spirit destroying belief in matter, God and man coexistent and eternal, science showing that the spiritual realities of all things are created by him and exist forever. The ark indicates temptation overcome and followed by exaltation. Sheep, innocence, inoffensiveness, those who follow their leader. Security for the claims of harmonious and eternal being is found only in divine science. Is it not a species of infidelity to believe that so great a work as the Messiah's was done for himself, or for God, who needed no help from Jesus' example to preserve the eternal harmony? But mortals did need this help, and Jesus pointed the way for them. Divine love always has met and always will meet every human need. It is not well to imagine that Jesus demonstrated the divine power to heal only for a select number or for a limited period of time, since to all mankind and in every hour, divine love supplies all good. The miracle of grace is no miracle to love. Jesus demonstrated the inability of corporeality as well as the infinite ability of spirit, thus helping erring human sense to flee from its own convictions and seek safety in divine science. Reason, rightly directed, serves to correct the errors of corporeal sense. But sin, sickness, and death will seem real, even as the experiences of the sleeping dream seem real, until the science of man's eternal harmony breaks their illusion with the unbroken reality of scientific being. Christian scientists, be a law to yourselves that mental malpractice cannot harm you either when asleep or when awake. Soul has infinite resources with which to bless mankind, and happiness would be more readily attained and would be more secure in our keeping if sought in soul. Christians rejoice in secret beauty and bounty hidden from the world, but known to God. Self-forgetfulness, purity, and affection are constant prayers. Practice, not profession, understanding, not belief, gain the ear and right hand of omnipotence, and they assuredly call down infinite blessings. Now, cried the apostle, is the accepted time. Behold, now is the day of salvation. Meaning not that now men must prepare for a future world salvation or safety, but that now is the time in which to experience that salvation in spirit and in life. Let's pray together for a few moments silently, and then pray aloud together the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Let's sing hymn number 216, 216. Oh, he who trusts in God's protection and hopes in him when fears alarm is sheltered by his loving kindness, delivered by his mighty arm. If ye God's law can understand, ye have not builded on the sand. Number 216. This church is a branch of the Mother Church, the First Church of Christ Scientist in Boston, Massachusetts. We hold Sunday services at 11 a.m. and Wednesday testimony meetings at 7:30 p.m. We also have services in Spanish, Sundays at 12 noon and Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. All services are held in person and online, and all are welcome. Third Church offers Sunday school classes in person and online for children and teens. These free one-hour classes are available each Sunday. At Sunday school, students learn how much God loves them and cares for them. They also learn about the Bible characters and lessons and the healing power of prayer. For more information on times and classes, please send us an email, thirdchurch@thirdchurchnyc.com. The members of this church invite you to an evening of inspiration, Good Friday, April 18th at 7:30 p.m. Brian Webster will speak on the topic, Our Walk to Emmaus. Organ music will begin at 7:20 p.m. The talk will take place in the church edifice at 583 Park Avenue at 63rd Street, Manhattan. Childcare will be provided. The talk will be streamed live on our website with simultaneous Spanish translation. After the talk, you're invited to remain for a question and answer session with Brian Webster. Replays in English and Spanish are available of this church's Christmas Eve talk by Bobby Lewis, a Christian Science practitioner, on the topic, Make Room at the Inn. Please visit our website, thirdchurchnyc.com. Other inspirational talks are also available on the website. This meeting is now open for all to share experiences of healing and spiritual insights that prove God's ever-presence and power in their lives. If you're listening by telephone and would like to speak, press *6 and wait until your line is unmuted. Please speak directly into the microphone of your phone. Your message will be easier to hear if you do not use the speaker function. To avoid feedback, please have only one device on at a time. If you're watching via Zoom, you can choose the raise your hand icon or unmute yourself and speak.
Thank you very much for those lovely readings. And the last hymn said, be silent in humility. So at the risk of not being humble, I'm talking. But so I'm not remaining silent because I have to express gratitude tonight. It's funny, since the last week's Wednesday meeting, I was driven into Smith's Bible Dictionary. Because Mrs. Eddy talks about it. And what I'm really giving gratitude for tonight is for Science and Health. I mean, I am just incredibly in awe at this book. And it is indeed the book which the angel in Revelation 10 is bringing down. She could have just said, well, that's a nice thought, and never written anything, but she's given us the key to everything, to life, to reality, to being. And it's all right there. She's laid it out. I'm so grateful to her and for this wonderful book, Science and Health. And so in studying it, in the chapter on Science of Being, she talks about two quotations she gives to bring out the idea that man is spiritual. And one of them is, she talks about Genesis 6, verse 3, where she says it's a familiar verse. It must be familiar among other Christians. And it says, the Lord said, my spirit shall not ever strive with man, for they are but flesh. And then she says, but Smith's Bible Dictionary goes into the original Hebrew and shows that the meaning of that is, and Jehovah said, my spirit shall not forever be rule or be humbled in man, for in their error they are but flesh. And what she points out here the original Hebrew is bringing out the clear fact that man is spiritual, not flesh. And I wanted to see that original Hebrew, so it drove me this last week into Smith's Bible Dictionary. Now with the internet, I mean, I could have never done this without the internet, but you just put in Google Smith's Bible Dictionary, all of a sudden it comes up, and evidently Smith was quite a scholar he was a contemporary of Mrs. Eddy's, and quite a scholar. He produced three editions of his dictionary, and she said in the article on Noah. So I went to the definition of Noah, and sure enough, he gives a whole incredible, and he brings out this fact, indeed, that this is the underlying meaning of that Genesis 6:3. That my spirit shall not ever rule or be humbled in man, because in their error they are but flesh. They call it an Arianism, and evidently it appears a lot through the Bible, but a lot of people have overlooked it. But Mrs. Eddy certainly didn't, and I'm so grateful for this wonderful book, Science and Health, she's given it. It's based solidly on the Bible, solidly on the spiritual interpretation of the Bible. And I'm so grateful. And thank you for the wonderful readings on Noah tonight, which I'm sure Smith's Bible Dictionary, as you did, goes into great depths. It's an incredible, wonderful experience. Thank you.
Thank you.
One of my teacher's first articles in the periodicals was something called, I think, Preventing Intellectual Shock. And in this article, she gives us a guideline for reading the Bible and understanding what is probably history, what is probably fable, what is probably literary, and what is allegory. And even though there are many people who are trying to reconstruct Noah's Ark, I think we know that that is an allegory. And following up on the previous testifier, Mrs. Eddy counsels us, or demands of us, that we read the Bible spiritually, with spiritual sense, and can find out what can really help us, what is true, what is real, what is fact. But it's the spiritual sense of the Bible in all its variety, from Old Testament to New Testament, that gives us the ability to live in reality rather than unreality, and to demonstrate the Christ voicing good and dispelling the illusions of the senses. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. From school, when I left, I was a Hindu. So when I left the school to go to college, one of my friends, they gave me the New Testament and a picture of Jesus. I said, okay, I'll take it. And I took it and I went to college. There, when I went into my room, there was a shelf, and I put the New Testament and the picture of Jesus. So every morning when I get up, I light the candle just pray to Jesus and open the New Testament at random. Whatever hits my eye, I read that sentence and put it back. So this was my practice every day. And my father from Sri Lanka would send money to my uncle who was living near my college. So I would go every 2 months to pick up my money and come and pay the fees and keep my pocket money. Once I did not want to go because all my friends were going for a movie. So I said, well, let me go for the movie. I'm not going, probably next week I'll go and collect the money. But to my surprise, when I entered the room, there was not a single penny because I hadn't gone to my uncle's place. So now I'm feeling a bit ashamed to tell my friends that I don't have money. So what I did was, I just lit the candle and I prayed, God, please, I want to go for this movie with my friends and I don't have a single penny in my room. I really prayed hard and I just every day I lift the New Testament to read. When I lifted it, ma'am, you won't believe, under that the exact movie fare and the bus fare were there. That was a miracle in my life. Because every day I lift the book, I would have seen it. So, and that's how it was. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would also like to share a wonderful thought that came to me this week, and that is that so many times we're dealing with symptoms, physical symptoms of problems, and I've caught myself so many times dealing with it as something that's true. And Mrs. Eddy, I realize she's saying, wait, if disease is true, you couldn't destroy it with or without drugs. It's simply error. All we deal with disease is simply error. The whole world, the medical profession and everything, oh, it's true, it's real, we're going to have to use this and that. And no. We simply, and I have caught myself this week, and many think, my word, you have some suggestion of a physical problem, and you think it's true. It's not true. It's error. It's simply error. And Mrs. Eddy said, and it's error, matter versus mind. and mind destroys error. It has no reality. And what a wonderful thing that is to know that all disease, all sin, disease, and death is simply error. It has no truth to it at all. And we are the people on this face of this earth who are dealing with it that way. And thank goodness, and it's the Christ truth which destroys this error. So and I've had wonderful progress this week and all kinds of things because of that. It's just wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your readings. The thoughts that's been helpful to me this week was a passage in the lesson last week. The story in the Bible was about Jesus healing the son of a man, son of a man that had what the father said was a devil or a demon, and it was causing him to be torn, and he asked for the disciples of Jesus to heal it. The father asked the disciples to heal it, and he could not. And Jesus said, well, this kind goes out only by prayer and fasting. And in the Science and Health that's correlated, there's the passage that is sort of the metaphysical example or structure of prayer and fasting. And it says, when the illusion of sickness or sin tempts you, cling steadfastly to God and his idea. Let nothing but his likeness abide in your thought. And then it goes on in that way. But to keep everything out of thought except for God's likeness is like fasting. It's not eating or consuming or believing that which is not from God. In James' passage, every good gift and every perfect gift is from above and comes down from the Father of lights, has as a corollary that which doesn't come down from God is whatever is unlike God is the reality is to be challenged. The truthfulness of it is to be challenged. In the week, whenever thought was occupied with challenges or fears or difficulties, conflicts to be overcome, challenges that were difficult, that it's the personal sense of responsibility sometimes that's the source of the anxiety that this would cause. And then this kind goes out by prayer and fasting. When those, if I catch myself and affirm the allness of God, as Eddie says, God is all in all. Well, that then I yield to that idea, and it's not a personal matter. It's a question of reflection. It's the challenge of reflection, and one gets dominion over the challenge and over the idea by keeping thought on identifying as God's reflection. And this is uplifting and gives strength and opens a way of dealing with that which seems insurmountable or difficult. And for this strengthening of keeping one's thought on God and therefore are identifying as that God's reflection, that strengthening, uplifting influence opens the way. And I'm very grateful for the application of these truths.
Thank you. Thank you all for your testimonies, your prayers, and your support at this meeting. The last hymn is number 209, and the words of the hymn are a poem titled Mother's Evening Prayer, written by the discoverer and founder of Christian Science, Mary Baker Eddy. I'll read the whole poem. O gentle presence, peace and joy and power, O life divine that owns each waiting hour, thou love that guards the nestling's faltering flight, keep thou my child on upward wing tonight. Love is our refuge. Only with mine eye can I behold the snare, the pit, the fall. His habitation high is here and nigh. His arm encircles me and mine and all. Oh, make me glad for every scalding tear, for hope deferred, ingratitude, disdain. Wait, and love more for every hate, and fear no ill, since God is good and loss is gain. Beneath the shadow of his mighty wing, in that sweet secret of the narrow way, seeking and finding, with the angels sing, Lo, I am with you alway. Watch and pray. No snare, no fowler, pestilence, or pain. No night drops down upon the troubled breast, when heaven's after smile earth's teardrops gain, and mother finds her home and heavenly rest. Number 209.